Welcome to Built for This, the podcast where property meets purpose. I'm Talia Hugh.
And I'm Megan Rovers. Together we're here to unpack the real stories behind the people shaping the property industry. From bold first steps to career-defining moments and the life lessons they've built along the way.
If you're passionate about property, curious about the human side of success, or just looking to build something meaningful, you're in the right place.
So let's unpack it. Welcome to Built for This.
On today's episode of Built for This, we are joined by Teegan Edwards.
She's gone from rentals to leasing manager and now thrives in sales at Armstrong Real Estate, known for her market knowledge, negotiation skills and passion for helping first home buyers.
Outside of work, Teegan is a mum to her 1-year-old Koa and partner to Ned, balancing family life with her love of fitness and her deep connection to the local Armstrong Creek community.
In this episode, we unpack how she juggles motherhood with career, the importance of a strong support network at home, and the discipline and mindset driving her personal and professional life.
So let's unpack it.
Hello and welcome to the podcast, Teegan Edwards. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, girls, for having me.
We're so excited to have you on. For those who don't know, we both work with Teegan. She's an absolute gun sales agent. So we wanted to get her on, give a bit of a background, bit of her story to share with you. So Teeg, start us off. Tell us about your background. Where have you been? What have you done?
Wonderful. So I'll start. I pretty much started with Armstrong. It's almost been 6 years that I've been here. So started in the leasing role, probably almost 2 years within that role, and then transitioned into the sales associate role. Spent not very long in that role at all before transitioning into a sales consultant role. And then I've been doing that ever since.
And tell it, how old were you when you started with Armstrong? What did you do pre-Armstrong?
So timelines I'm terrible at. So prior to Armstrong, I was just in sale roles I was with the Cotton On Group. So I was doing factory work. I was working at...
That's like factory, the store, not like...
Yeah, like Cotton
Stop
On.
trying to make it sound like you're like hustling on the factory floor.
Not at all. I was, at the, shop floor, whatever. So did that but it was probably not long after finishing high school. And then so finished high school, I actually moved to WA, spent almost 2 years there, just saving to come back and find a job that I really liked. I actually applied for the police force and then didn't get into that, which is probably a blessing in disguise now because I just don't feel like that role would be for me. And that's what sort of, I guess, dropped into real estate.
I should know this because I'm assuming that I actually hired you, but how did you, did you just apply for the job? Did someone refer you in? How did you... Did you literally just fall into it?
Literally fell into real estate. Like I knew no one. I remember walking to the door and everyone had, sisters, cousins, partners, all that sort of stuff. And I was just like, I'm the only one here that, there was no, link at all. I had no idea what I was doing. I just finished my agent certificate. Applied online, did the interview, and then I got a call off of Harriet and she was like, so we've got this position available or we have this one. And that's sort of how that all started.
Love. And you're OG Geelong, aren't you?
OG Geelong, yeah.
Grew up Geelong, born and bred.
Yeah.
Yep.
Never, besides the couple of years that I ventured off to WA, I've been here the whole time. And
with Armstrong, again, you've sort of immerse yourself within this location from the get-go, essentially. Talk to us about that.
So it was probably 10 years ago almost. Again, timelines, you'll find me questioning myself a lot. So 10 years ago, bought a block of land in Mountainade, started the first build there, and then it was probably a year after starting with Armstrong, I got an opportunity to build another property in Mountainade. So took that one up, and then just last year we decided to build our little family home in Mountainade again. So definitely immerse myself in this community.
Nice segue into family life. Mm-hmm. I like that. It's definitely something I want to touch on today. Is family for you, and obviously that journey with Koa. We know a little bit about the story about becoming a mum. Do you want to just talk us through that? How did that all take shape?
How did I become a mum?
How did it happen?
I don't want the details. Gross.
No. So, yes. So Koa just turned 1. So it was actually just after our Christmas party in 2023. again, timeline's shocking. 2023, I found out I was going to be a mum. And it was probably about 16 weeks later that I shared with Megan that was happening. And then, the transition, fortunately, I had a really good pregnancy. I didn't have any complications or anything like that. I guess that all happened. And then Cole was born in August 2024, and here we are.
And can you take us through, if you're open to it, that sort of mindset of becoming mum? What does work look like? Pre-mum, you've always been a really hard worker. Like, you've got your processes down pat. How did that sort of initially come up for you? Were you sort of umming and ahhing?
It definitely, as soon as I found out, my first thought was, how is this going to work with this job? Because I guess we have Mads, which she obviously had a baby before I did, but her role was slightly different at the time. So thinking about what the sales consultant role was going to look like for me, it hadn't really happened within our businesses yet. But I think with that conversation, I already knew that nothing was going to change in the sense of right up until having a baby. I wanted just to prove that I could do it all. And I still feel that that's my mindset even today. I'm just I can do it all. There's obviously compromises and adjustments and things that do happen behind the scenes as well. But I just have never felt that was ever going to be a barrier for me, ever.
And I think as well, from my side of things, you've definitely changed my perception of having a baby within this industry. You've shown me you can absolutely do it all. How does that look for you on a day-to-day basis?
One word, chaos, but all organised chaos. We have fortunately I have a really supportive partner at home, and our transition to what our home life looks like definitely changed with my job. So we sort of have our days at home with Koa, and then fortunately I'm able to still be full-time. That's just sort of what this job needs. And he's able to be home with Koa a little bit more. I probably would say we have to be super organised, super structured, but some days definitely don't go to plan, and it's just sort of I've got to go here, got to go there, someone has to be home, and again, just supportive family to help out where we need.
I'm just going to make note that someone has just come by the window and doing a blower back. If you can hear that, they're about to go. So well done on concentrating there with your answer, Tees, because I was so distracted going, why is this happening? You touched on mindset before, and I know that you have a really strong mindset. We saw this when you did your bodybuilding competition. And yes. It just feels like forever ago. I'm not going to try and get you into the time frame of that because you kind of...
Literally, I couldn't think.
Mindset obviously has played a big part in how successful you've been over multiple facets, obviously over the bodybuilding, becoming a mum, and now, a very successful career in sales. Talk to us about your version or your thoughts on mindset.
I just think... you have to be all in, and I think I always have a vision of what I want to be doing before I make the decision to do that. I'm just someone who, if I want something, I will just go bounds to make sure that it happens and the way that I want it to happen, if that makes sense.
And with that, of course that comes with sacrifices, and I feel again, from our point of view, you're just so well structured, and maybe in the background, maybe every day doesn't look like that, but to us, the perception is that you are completely structured. You've always got really in-depth processes. Talk us through that in terms of putting your mind to something, but how do you actually make sure that you do it?
Well, I think, Megan, you've said it before, routine creates flexibility. And I'm a big one who thinks that as well. So it's one of those things where if you have a routine and if you're just doing it, I think motivation doesn't last. So if you're just doing it and it just becomes a habit, and then just creating those habits, it just becomes the new normal. So that would be probably one thing, is just creating routines, creating habits to make sure that everything, flows.
You've recently put on a sales associate, and I know that obviously comes with a few challenges, and you've obviously got a lot going on at home and now even more happening at work. How have you found managing someone as a sales associate, and how's that going?
This would probably be one of my biggest challenges, actually. It was super interesting. I had no idea. I actually thought about doing it prior to finding out I was pregnant with Koa, just the idea of bringing on an associate. But I think the challenges are, because I am so in control all the time of and how my days look, and that sort of just throws out in a sense of you have to let that person grow and learn the way that they need to learn. And I'm also very much like, I like to be super involved in what they're doing, knowing exactly how things are playing out, what those conversations look like, all of that sort of stuff. But it's actually been such a breath of fresh air to have Lily. Just being able to feed off her, she's just so relaxed and so gentle in her approach as well, that it sort of reflects onto me, which helps me be a better person too.
Do you feel like being a mum, becoming a mum, has helped with a little bit of letting go? Because as Tal said, I think what we're kind of not saying without saying it, like you are
perfectionist.
Yeah. You have a list, you have highlighted colours, you are so organised. And I've seen Chloe eating outside to avoid spaghetti on the walls, all those types of things. But do you feel like becoming a mum has changed you as a sales person, as you know, how you are today, and as some of those things you've become a little bit more not flexible, maybe just like
yeah.
Definitely, I let a lot more go. I used to be very uptight, but probably one of the things that I found is time management. Although I felt that I was really good with time management, if you really look at your day, you can find that you waste a lot of time. So knowing that I've got certain days, I've got blocks of time that I need to utilize, and there's absolutely nothing that will get in the way of those time blocks. If I'm away from COA, then those times are so important. So that's probably one thing, is just time management, but also how precious time is. But the other thing would probably be, I would say, yes, in terms of just letting things go, being a lot more patient. He brings out all the world of patience in me. I just literally look at him and he can do absolutely anything, and I'm like, oh, that's okay. Like I literally am just a completely different person when it comes to him, in terms of probably patience.
So he could throw spaghetti at the walls and you kind of like,
and I'm like, he didn't mean it, but it was so good. He learned to throw. He's so good. Literally anything he does or anything he bashes into, I'm just like, that's so fun. And that is just, I do not let things go like that, but for him, absolutely.
Amazing. And I know Megs and I have talked about this in another episode previously, that, when you're at work, and you just mentioned that as well, you are on, because you know that when you get home, your time with Koa is so precious. And I feel like you've sort of gone into that in terms of time management and things like that, but how do you adapt, if something does come up at home, because we're in the industry where it's inevitable, it's probably going to happen. How do you separate the two? That's
probably a mindset one. I think it's probably a lot of conversations, especially with Ned, who's very understanding that our job is not 9 to 5. So sometimes we have blocks of time. So as any mum would know, pretty much 5:30 till 7 is just absolutely no-go zone. And that's literally phones down, we're doing bed, dinner, bed, bath, whatever order that goes in. And that's just like our locked-in time. As soon as Cole goes to bed, that's where Ned's like, do what you got to do, make those calls, do those emails, and you'll find a lot of my clients will get emails 7 till 10. Schedule send doesn't always work. So pretty much whatever time I can be on my laptop once Cole is in bed, that's where I make the most of that time.
And do you feel as well, from a work perspective, becoming a mum, has it, shifted your relationships with your clients as well? Because I know even in the lead up, which whether you want to touch it, I know that a lot of your clients actually knew that you were off to have a baby. So some of them actually held out to sell because they wanted you, and they're just so understanding. Like, have you found that that's been a really good impact for you? Yeah, definitely. I think especially those who have been through it or going through it all, they're just so understanding. I think probably my busiest 2 months was when I was between 30 to 38 weeks pregnant, which was insane because I was genuinely meeting my clients and they were like, can you sell this property before you have a baby? And I was like, absolutely, I can. And there was no barrier there. Like, they still got all my time, all my energy. And I didn't sort of fall off the bandwagon or anything like that right up until I finished my days at that time. And then even now, when I was coming back to work, I had clients in the lead up to starting again. They were more than happy to wait till I came back. I think they just understood that the service that I'd provided for them, because it's obviously not someone, like, you don't just meet someone and then you list their property. Usually it's a relationship that you've had for quite some time. They were all very trusting in my approach and
that I was going to do a good job for them.
And what does that look like? Because we've chosen you as the first, Josh was on the podcast, but we've chosen you as the first kind of internal person to join the podcast. For those, we know what it looks like. We know how you operate, but how do you differentiate yourself in the market as an agent compared to even, there's 12 others in your direct area inside the business. But who are you as an agent and why do people sell with you?
We love this question. I would say like every agent in this office has their strengths and they all bring something different to the table. But I would say relationships for me. Like I focus from, I'm potentially meeting clients from the moment that they buy their land, they're doing their floor plans, they're choosing, what's going to work best, all those sorts of things. So pretty much the lead up from when they start their journey to, if they do decide to sell in 2-3 years time, that's where I come in. But they are speaking to me that entire time. So it's never just, sometimes definitely occurs, but I would say that I'm very much a relationship building, hand holding agent. And like all my clients can definitely say that I will do pretty much anything for them throughout the process to make their lives easier. And it's something that I probably need to adjust to a little bit, but it's probably something that I'll never change.
You touched on a little bit with some dates, so we can keep the dates out again, on your personal property journey. And we love talking about property, so we'll just keep bringing you back to property as much as possible. But the home that you're currently in, Koa's first home, and you're building at the moment, you've built a couple of times before. How's that process gone? And what does, property versus a home mean to you now?
I think it's a little bit tricky. I would probably say the home that I'm in now, it's special. Obviously, that's the home that Koa came home to. But I sort of think about property now, it's just a next step. So every time we build a home, I'm thinking, how is this going to sell? And that's sort of how I plan my properties. And our plan is to hopefully keep this one as an investment and have our next property as our home. But then eventually that will sell and then we'll potentially buy or build again just to go that little bit bigger. But I think, property for me is, it's what I want to invest in because it's what I know. And that's probably how I look at property now. And
was that always the case pre-buying your first home or was that?
No, not at all. No? I, again, fell into my first home. It was a great opportunity at the time. We knew that we didn't want to rent for, years and years. So it was, pretty much just went to a display home, locked in that day. Like there was nothing special about it. I had no idea, hadn't obviously entered real estate at this point. And then it was so new to this area. So it's less about real estate, more about this area. I would say I just obviously haven't left. But I just think that this community is something really special.
I'm going to launch into Ned time.
Ned time. He's going to love this. Yeah.
Ned, shout out to you. I think it's really important to kind of unpack a little bit just at home, having that supportive partner. You've mentioned Ned a couple of times, having him as at home, being flexible, all those types of things. Yep. What's the dynamic like? How's that gone? Obviously pre-Koa, with Koe, now kind of back full time. Or how's Ned going?
How does that look?
How does that look?
Ned is pretty much before Ned, I was even more structured, and he's, would you believe it, actually created even more flexibility with me. Just don't sweat the small stuff is pretty much his mindset, which is great because definitely needed that. But in terms of Koe, I think he loves being a stay-at-home dad. Even though he does still work 3 days a week, he's just absolutely, that's his bread and butter. His days with Koa is probably his favourite days, and it just shows me that. And it was probably something that I thought about late pregnancy, just how was that going to work? How was I going to be able to let go? But the moment that Koa was born, those first few weeks, like he was just all on deck. Like he did everything. And there was never any I do this, you do that. It was pretty much like we're both all in. So that just created that home life where I was never stressed about leaving him home. It was never about, you go back to work and, my potential idea to not go back to work. We always knew from the day one that I would be going back full time and we would, whether he went back at all. But just to have that flexibility, even having his family support as well. We do have his parents and his sister do care for Koa on a couple of days. And that just means that, he's able to still work, which is nice.
And I love that as well because I feel like it is still slowly becoming a little bit of the new norm for the dad to stay at home.
Yep.
I know even with you, Megs, Mark was stay at home initially. Well, both, that sort of dynamic, which we love to see. And would you say that communication is a big thing with that? Like making sure that you understand from the get-go how that looks?
Yeah, and having the conversation beforehand as well. Like, it probably wouldn't have been ideal because initially I was like, I'm going to come back to work 3 days a week. And I think it was my first day in the office. I went home and I was like, Ned, 3 days, it's not going to work. I'm back full time. Like this job just isn't a part-time job. But for Ned, I would say that we both know Koa's routine. Like there's not anything that, we both know what he eats, what he does, what he needs, all that sort of stuff. So that just makes it super easy. Yeah.
What a powerhouse behind the scenes as well. And we've alluded to it a couple of times, like you show up and give everyone 100%, like even, team meetings and those types of things, you're always first to contribute. So, yeah, obviously, even if it is chaos to get here, when you are here, it's always 100%. I just want to touch on, and this could be some ill research, but cheerleading, was that a thing?
Yes. No, again, timelines are off, but I was obsessed. Yeah. So pretty much, and I threw myself into it. Pretty much from year 7 to year 12, it was die hard. And actually, when I came back from WA, I invested to go to a Melbourne cheer company as well. So I did that just because I was like, this is not out of my system yet.
What does the life of a cheerleader look like? Because I didn't know necessarily it was a thing. Yeah, because maybe it's in Shep. I don't know. Maybe it didn't make it to Shep.
Just think America.
Were you a cheer girl? Like, what did you do?
So pretty much, it's actually an incredible sport. It's probably a lot of discipline as well. It's where I spent every night after school, like all that sort of stuff. My weekends were committed to cheer comps or training or events or performances or whatever it was that weekend. And you're just with like the best group of people who just love the sport as well. So prior to that, it was gymnastics. So that's sort of how I got down the cheerleading route, because you definitely age out of gymnastics. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
So good.
There's a theme of discipline here.
I was about to say, even just your fitness, gym, everything.
Yeah, I remember the bodybuilding. I was like, wow, how are you doing this? Like the discipline for that bodybuilding, unbelievable.
It's the food. It's for bodybuilding anyway, it was the food that was the biggest discipline. But again, mindset. Like from day one, I literally said to myself, this is what you're doing. And I did not, even my coach was like, you can have a day. And I was like, nah, no days, because as soon as you alter, then you can start to go backwards. So
you go, Tels.
I was just going to say, like, where did you learn this from? Do you know, do you think it's instilled in you? Like, is it something that you sort of practiced growing up and things like that? Because again, discipline is hard.
I would say it's something that I always had in me, because I always, like, for me, it's always about like the end goal or what I want to do. Probably didn't have the support that I could have had growing up. So it was something that I always just made sure that I knew what I wanted. So to get there, you needed to have discipline, or you need to have something to make sure that you get to your end goals. So I would say it was what I needed to get to where I am today.
So would you say you grew independence relatively young?
Yeah, super early. Yeah.
Because you've got a big family, don't you?
I do.
How many sisters?
One of 6. So I've got 3 sisters, 2 brothers.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, huge family, yeah. And like we're all super
And you
close.
all look the same.
Yeah, people say that, yeah. No.
Maybe that's why I thought I was seeing the same person over and over again, but and it's just a different sister.
They all just travel in every now and again. I've actually got my sister coming down next week from Broome.
WA, yeah.
So that will be exciting. So yeah, we all, some are in WA, but most of us are here. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Was that the WA move? Is that why? How did you end up half in WA, half in Geelong?
That is a good question, Megan.
Thanks,
I finished year 12. My sister's actually been in Broome, WA for, I don't know, time. I think it's about 16 years. So she's been there for a really long time. So I moved there thinking I'd be there for about a year and absolutely loved it. It was, huge decision. But again, it was just one of those things that really helped set myself up to come back and buy a house, ultimately, was the goal.
Yeah. On that as well, like in terms of buying a house, how old were you when you first?
I was 20 when we bought the block of land.
That's amazing to me, honestly. And again, discipline with saving up until getting that, incredible work. No, you go.
Probably just on that, being in real estate and the industry, do you feel like, this is a weird question, sorry, do you feel like you fit in? Like, do you feel like you're the typical real estate agent that people see online?
Absolutely not. I feel like I'm definitely not from what you see as a real estate agent. I think the perception of a real estate agent is suit, nice car, you know, multiple portfolio investment property, that sort of thing. And I think people forget that, you know, real estate agents are just like the same as you. Like just people literally make mistakes, all that sort of stuff. But I would say, yeah, definitely not your typical real estate agent.
Do you feel like real estate agents forget that too? Because you said people forget the real estate agents, but do you feel like some real estate agents forget?
Some real estate agents probably forget that they're people too, yeah.
And can I ask, what advice would you give any young one looking to get into real estate? What do you love about it? Like,
I love the flexibility in the job, that there's never any boundaries. Like you can literally just keep going. And I remember when I started, I was like, wow, like that feels huge. And then every year I'm like, I'm going to push that. Like I'm going to do way better than that. In terms of like level of service, like even little goals, like the type of clients that you're working with, like it can really change your experience from if you're with investors, first-time buyers or first-time sellers to, you know, I guess repeat clients and that sort of thing. So that's probably something that I love, is that you can literally just keep pushing, but also the team. Yeah. So I think if I had advice for anyone looking to start real estate is do a week with the team. Ask people, you know, if they, know anyone within the team or anything like that, because I think the team changes. I've been here for 6 years and I've never thought about leaving. So, yeah.
Thanks, Teegs. Never leave. You won't be allowed to.
Yeah.
I just want to probably touch on, and, you know, using the words burnout, it's a big phrase. When you're doing it all and you've got, you know, Cowie at home and those types of things, and I know we go on a walk on Thursdays, the Hot Mums Walk. We were talking about, you know, just things like you're sitting there going, shit, I need to go home and pump, like, you know, this meeting's going on for too long, or whatever it might be. How have you managed to kind of do it all and not burn out? What are some of the things what are your non-negotiables that you put in place for yourself to make sure that you can kind of do it all? What am I not seeing?
I would probably say, again, very fortunate to have Ned at home. Like if there's, you know, we do the, you've got to have 80, I'm at 20 today. So it's sort of like, you know, I'm not feeling great today, we need dinner on the table. When I get home, I'm starving, sort of thing. Like there's just such a balance there, but also probably health. I would say a huge part of what keeps me going without necessarily that burnout would be I'm still able to get to the gym, I'm still able to go for walks, still eat well would be a huge one. I find that, you know, if I start to dabble in, you know, less than great food, that's where I start to feel really average. So just making sure that I tick all those boxes to ideally avoid what we call burnout. Yeah.
And I think we so underestimate food and how that impacts us.
Like, and I think we can talk ourselves into burnout, if that makes sense. Like we can really tell ourselves that, and I'm not saying that, you know, we don't work hard as agents, we definitely do, but if you're just constantly, pounding yourself every single day, just take a day, hopefully. We've got the resources to do that, and we've got the team behind us to do that as well. So just having small windows and really appreciating those small windows. It doesn't have to be a whole day off, maybe an early afternoon or whatever it is. But, just recognising that.
It's okay to take a step back.
Yeah.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
Not for too long.
Yeah, not for too long.
You're always chasing something. I'm intrigued. What are you chasing at the moment? What's on the next chapter for you?
I'm hopefully this new home. We are due to move in December, so that's going to be
gosh, that's so soon,
so quick. So that will be super exciting. But I think next year my focus is just leveling up in my work goals. So I think with Lily on board, I'm super excited to see what next year looks like.
Absolutely. And back on that as well, sorry, with your building, how has the experience been?
They've been so good. Like it's been incredible. They've been even seeing things, even as an agent, you just forget sometimes like what's important and what's not. But the experience has been super easy again, because I pretty much did the start process and just handballed to Ned. He's got a little bit more time up his sleeve, and it's his sort of up his alley.
He's a builder. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely didn't think that I needed to step in here, but after the colours were done, it was all him. Just the process has been super easy. Yep.
Love.
You're making it sound all very, very cruisy. Yeah. No, you're doing really well. I just want to hear maybe a point in your career that you felt was really pivotal. Like, I know that we've had conversations in the past where you're kind of like, I'm doing it all and nothing's dropping, or like, has there been some moments where you're gone, hang on a minute, I'm actually really good at this, I'm good at what I do, or some moments where you've gone, hang on a minute, I need to check myself here and pivot?
I would probably say the pennies dropped probably a few times. And there's definitely been different scenarios where you do feel defeated, like you might feel young in the industry or anything like that, but you've got something that someone else doesn't. And I think it just experiences with clients or certain sales or that sort of stuff really changes how you feel about your job at the time. So probably some penny drop moments would be maybe last year getting Employee of the Year. That was really wholesome, especially because, you know, when you do work really hard and it is recognised, you can just sort of pat yourself on the back and keep pushing. So that's probably a big one. But then also, I guess, being able to bring Lily on board would be a big one as well. Actually having the opportunity to do that and knowing that she's just going to help level us up to get to the next point. So they're probably my two big ones. Besides, I guess, going from an associate to a consultant and just being like, oh boy. But yeah.
Tels, you've touched on that as your journey and when we did your app. Was it a whole app or am I just making that up?
It was our intro.
Yeah. About going from an associate to a consultant. I just probably want to hear from you both now. I'm turning this into just about that, about the pressure of real estate, of it's on you girls now. Like you've got a list, you've got to sell. Where do you start? How do you, because I think that's where we as a business see most of the, you know, make it or break it moments, and we want everyone to make it. But sometimes it is so challenging. What's the mindset? How do you kind of push on? If you were going back there again, what would you tell yourself? What would you do different? What would you do the same?
I feel like I can speak on behalf of both of us,
go,
but let it go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like everything that you were doing beforehand, someone else can do as well. It just frees you up to do the other things.
Wait, are you talking about going from an associate to a consultant?
Yes, sorry.
Sorry, Charles.
But that's great advice too.
Hiring an associate.
No.
Just let everything go. Become an
It'll be fine. No, going from a sales associate to a consultant, because I think some people probably don't even have that as a stepping stone. They go from this industry, you know, maybe being, you know, a mechanic as an example, into a sales consultant role, and
There's
it's like
that next
shit.
list.
Like you've got a retainer, you've got bills to pay, you've got that pressure. What would you tell yourself? What could you do? You know, if someone was doing it, what would you say to them essentially?
Honestly, for me, takes belief. Like you can actually do this. Because again, I know when I was Josh's PA for a little while there, I was so just like, oh, no, I'm not ready. And he's like, yes, you are. Like, what are you doing? Why are you even my PA at the moment? Because I asked for that. And it's just believing that you can actually do it. And you can. And like you said before, Teegs, every milestone shows you that you can just keep doing that. Yeah. And then, you have that little win and you're like, oh, and then you just go bigger. Like I remember when I was looking at the $2 million properties being like, oh, I could never sell those. They're way out of my league. And then it's just like every other campaign. It's not,
I would probably say as well, just work hard. Like just do the things.
Do
like,
the little things.
Do the calls. Do all the 1%ers as we talk about all the time. Just start there and just don't jump the gun. Like just start at the start and don't try and compare yourself to an agent that's been doing it for 5, 10, 15 years. Don't compare yourself to anyone. Just stay in your own lane. And if you head down, bum up, you'll get there.
Love that.
Maybe a question for both of you. If you know
the hosts,
the roller coaster of real estate, we've touched on this in a couple of episodes, but how do you not ride it essentially? How do you make sure that every day is a good day? Is, you know, all going well, or when you are in one of those lulls, how do you both get yourselves out of that?
You go first.
Look, I'm still learning. That's why I'm laughing, because it's always going to be a roller coaster in a way. Like the aim is consistency, of course. But I think it's just back to basics. Like Teek says, it's doing the little things. It's doing the things that you know that are repetitive, but being consistent, that it's just going to pay off. You're not always going to have an absolute high. And it's, again, I think we've touched on it previously, celebrating the small wins. A big win isn't always going to be a huge win. It's just take it day by day. That would be my...
Yeah. Well, Ned has a good saying, and he says, it's never as bad as it seems and it's never as good as it seems. And that's literally just helped me pretty much not ride those waves, because, they still come and we still experience them. But I think if we focus and we put too much energy into the good, and then put too much energy into the bad, then you're constantly on that
just too
roller
up
coaster.
and high, up and down. Yeah, absolutely.
So, that would be, what I would say.
What would your advice be, Mex? Because you've been through it. Tell us.
Through starting out in real estate?
Yeah.
Well, my journey was obviously a little bit different to a certain degree, kind of fell into it the same as you two to a certain degree. But I couldn't agree more. It's just actually doing it. And I see most commonly, and this is probably not even my experience, but personally, but what I see is a lot of talking and not a lot of doing. Like I would rather do and fail rather than talk and not do it. So as a manager of people, I would always get around the people that are having a go. Like just having a go at it and it's not working, then you can learn. And, it's a service-based business, which is sometimes, harder to get feedback on than, say, a product-based business, but you are a service. So if you're not out there getting rejected, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know where your gaps are. You don't know, like if you're introducing a product into the market, you put it to the market, you get bad reviews, you pivot. Yeah. But if you're not even out there doing the work, getting hung up on, getting doors slammed in your face, all those types of things, you don't know what's not working. So you've got to actually go out there and do it. You've got to be, have that rejection to go, okay, maybe school holidays isn't the greatest time to door knock because there's 5 kids in the house and, that's not the time that someone wants an appraisal. You don't know that until you actually do it. I'm not even sure if that's a thing, by the way. Don't take that as words of advice, but it's just do it. Like I just think, you've just got to get out there and do it.
Don't make excuses about why it couldn't work because you actually don't know if it doesn't work.
Yeah. And ask for feedback would be a good one. I think I would rather know so then I don't make the same mistake. Not a mistake, but I just don't do the same thing next time. So, I think people can find it hard to ask for feedback and hard to give feedback. But I think if you can do that, then, you just keep sort of pivoting.
And I think as well, all around mindset is that, like Meg said, if you're doing all the things, don't expect a win. It's almost like a bonus if you win because it's 9 times out of 10, maybe it doesn't work, but the one day it does work, it's all worth it.
I was actually thinking this morning about feedback, like, just a good segue into this, is that I think we often ask feedback from the people that we miss. So like the appraisals that we didn't get into or the listings, but are we asking why people went with us and then kind of expanding on that? Like why are people listing with us and then keep kind of honing in on those skills. That's or why people, chose, and this applies to any industry as well. I think we always try and look at the missed opportunities or the lost, reasons why products aren't selling, all those types of things, but what is working and trying to kind of continue amplify that as well. So 100%. I think you've touched on it a couple of times, mindset, communication, feedback, all those types of things. You probably hear it over and over again on podcasts or in, books and all those types of things, but it's like 3 pretty fundamental, principles that if you just follow that, there's our advice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love this. Let's do our rapid fire questions. Tals, one day we will discuss the rapid fire questions before we do the rapid fire questions.
Like with each other or with me?
No. We ask these questions.
We want to surprise you.
But we surprise ourselves.
But we're never on the same page with, as in we've just never preempted what we're actually going to ask. So now I'm like thinking about it. I'm trying to think something related to you because, well, actually no, this would be related because you're I was just thinking gluten-free, but pizza or pasta?
Well, I can get gluten-free both, but I love pasta. Yeah,
I feel like we asked someone this the other day and they stumbled on whether they were going to answer
I think
pizza
it was
or
Tom
pasta.
Panos. I reckon it was. Henning? I think it was.
Maybe.
Someone said it and then they're like, oh, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. Wrong answer. That was too quick, too rapid fire. I'm interested in your favourite holiday destination.
Yeah. Noosa.
Ooh.
Yeah, we've been twice. Noosa. Loved it. Absolutely love it.
Is it just because it's like easy, all there, slow pace?
Slow pace, and we've had good experiences there. Like they've been fun times. So yeah.
And again, I always go into these rapid fire questions wanting to know more, but do you have any holidays planned?
No, do we? No, we do want to go to Darwin next year, and then we want to go to Europe 2027 for the Ashes.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Oh, we didn't even touch on how into cricket you are.
I know, we love cricket. Koa's first birthday was actually cricket themed, so we're pretty obsessed. And actually, he says 4 words now. So he says mum, dad, ta, and shot.
Oh,
so every time he hits his ball, he goes, shot.
I didn't know I thought you were saying shart. As in, wait, you're toilet training already? Good on you. No, shot. Like, yeah.
Shot. Like he hit a good shot. Yeah. And sometimes he's super confident he says it before he's hit the ball. But that's okay.
That's the best. Well, he better be a professional cricketer. Let's just say that.
Yeah, he's going to fund our retirement. That's the goal.
Love that. Thank you so much for joining us, Teags. It's been an awesome to unpack a little bit more of your journey.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Us.
Me. Are you not telling yourself?